Yo. Yo, check. Okay, so it is working. Very good. And nobody's live. That's alright. It's pretty early in the morning anyways. Anyways, though, to those who are re-watching this live stream, sorry for that. Sorry. Anyways, though, for those watching or replaying today's live stream, I just want to say thank you for watching today's live stream. And in today's live stream, like it said on the title, I am building up 120 water extractors. Or it might be 120 water extractors. It might actually be 60. I don't know yet. I'll explain that more in detail later, but yeah, I mean, welcome to the channel. Just waiting for some people to hop online. While I am waiting, though, I mean, I guess I could explain what's going on here with why I'm building up 120 water extractors. And so the main reason why I'm building up 120 water extractors is, well, you can see here in my last stream, I did build up 60 nuclear power plants here. And to run 60 nuclear power plants, I'm going to need 120 water extractors, because each of these nuclear power plants here takes 240 water per minute, which is 2 water extractors per nuclear reactor. So 60 times 2 is 120. Pretty simple math there. So, like I said, in today's stream, I am going to build up, well, 120 water extractors. And so I actually have not actually figured out a plan yet for how I want to actually accomplish that. Now, I have been thinking about it here, but I mean, apart from like possible ideas and theories, I really have no concrete plan for how I do want to build it up here. So I did actually kind of experiment a little bit with this in my last live stream here, but I didn't really get into it because, well, I was saving it for future me, and so it is the future now, and I gotta deal with it. And now the reason why building up the water extractors is such a, well, pain in the ass essentially is because, well, past me built up the uranium fuel rod factory high above the ground in order to make sure that I wasn't going to run into any terrain and foliage and stuff. Which is great until, well, I needed to build up the water extractors. Because you see, the problem I am now facing is if I look at the bottom of my factory here, you can kind of see a pipe floor hole there. And if I actually grab a pipe and attach it to it, you can see that it actually won't reach all the way to the bottom. I mean, it'll barely get itself halfway down, so it's gonna be quite interesting how I'm gonna actually have to build all of this up now. But that's all right, honestly. I mean, it should be fine. But let's see here, because another thing I was also experimenting with in my last live stream was how I can actually place all of my water extractors to the grid. Now, the reason why I want to place my water extractors up to the grid, kind of something like this. I do have, yeah, you can see kind of an example here. Something kind of like that. And now the reason why I want the water extractors hooked up to the grid like that is because it'll be a lot easier to line them up in a nice straight line or neatly have them organized in a way where it's not just a bunch of water extractors everywhere and pipes going everywhere. But the one problem I ran into my last video is, well, I can't actually see the foundations underneath the water here, making it kind of hard where I can, you know, see the water extractors and stuff. So there are going to be a few problems like that I'm going to have to deal with, but honestly, nothing too bad, hopefully. I don't know if I even look at the ceiling here. Where are all of the pipe floor holes? Seems like the first pipe floor hole is somewhere over this way. Yeah, it seems like it starts over here. Yeah, you can see the rest of them underneath there too. So 120 water extractors. And now the reason why I'm going with 120 and not 60 is because, well, it's pretty simple, and that's mainly a power issue, because if you look at how much power one water extractor uses, it uses 20 megawatts, right? And that's just for one, so to build two of them, it's going to take up 40. And so, actually, real quickly, just doing the math here, 20 times 120 is going to be about 2,400 megawatts just to run the water extractors here, which is, well, a ton of power. But it will be that power consumption will be way higher though if I overclock it. And a good example I can use for that is over here with this water extractor, because this water extractor is overclocked, and you can see here, instead of consuming 40 megawatts, it consumes 50. And so if we go back to the calculator here, instead of consuming 2,400 megawatts, it will consume 3,000. So that's 600 extra megawatts, which in hindsight really isn't a lot, especially seeing how 60 nuclear reactors or nuclear power plants can generate a maximum of 150,000 megawatts or something like that. So in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't that much, but I still do want to place down 2 water extractors rather than 1 to also save on power shards, because then if we do, what would that be, 2 times 60 water extractors, that's 120 power shards, which I do have 120 power shards. That really isn't the issue. The issue is that there are only a limited amount of power shards in the world, and I do know, since with the update with 1.0 you can synthetically make power shards, but I don't really know how to do that yet, and I don't want to waste all my power shards on something like water extractors until I know I can easily, well, automate power shards. And still nobody is online, that's fine. Anyways though, so just kind of seeing how, oh, that's kind of weird, there was a, what's going on down here, huh? That's weird. That guy must have bugged out and spawned there, but whatever. Anyways, though, as far as general plans go, so I had 2 main ideas. The first idea I actually came up with in my last stream, and that was I was going to place 2 water extractors, 1 on each side of the platform here. I might have to move it over or whatever, but essentially each nuclear reactor gets 2 water extractors, well, each. And so instead of having, you know, what would that be? So instead of having, what is that, 6 water extractors to 1, or no, would that be 6 water extractors? Anyways though, instead of having like a full 600 line, or like 10 full 600 lines or whatever, how many it is, just going in and, you know, overflowing through all of them, just the 1 nuclear reactor, or each nuclear reactor I should say, would just have their own personal 2 water extractors. Also, I just noticed that at the bottom of my screen it's kind of bugging out a little bit there. I can't really explain what that is. Kind of weird, but whatever. Anyways, though, the other idea I also had was I do line up all 120 water extractors in one neat organized row, or rows more like it, and then just have them all come and piped up kind of like in an overflow system, or just have 60 pipes kind of going wherever kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So that was also another idea I had. And the reason why I thought of it doing kind of like that is because it would make it a lot easier to line up the the water extractors in the long run. But I'm more kind of pulled to the idea of doing my first idea, and that is just having 2 water extractors per floor or pipe hole there or whatever. Which it might just be easier to do in the long run. Nobody is still in chat. Or nobody's watching live stream still. That's kind of sad. Whatever though, work must go on. So... oh no, let's see. So if I wanted it to do it like that, I already have foundations placed here. I would just need to line it up with the pipe floor hole there. Actually, that is a good question. If I go ahead and just take that, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Yeah. I ran into this same problem too, way earlier on when I was building up my fuel generator setup. Which, by the way, if you do want to go ahead and see that, I highly suggest you check it out. That was an interesting video. But anyways though, I did run into this same problem with the nuclear generator setup. And so what I did was, well, it was a pretty similar design. I just had, how many extractors was it? It was like, I think it was 20 water extractors just lined up, 10 on each side or whatever. Just going into pipe floor holes. But you see, the thing is I had platforms like this going about halfway, so it could actually make it all the way up. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna have to deal with this now. It's gonna be kind of interesting. Nobody is still online. You know, I feel like I got pretty lucky with my last stream because I reached a peak of 11 viewers, which I think was pretty good with my... well, that was my first stream ever too, so... but now this time it seems like, I mean, I guess just YouTube isn't pushing my stream out as much. Which is whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and deal with the situation anyways. So yeah, starting off... you know what? Actually... I'll just go ahead and look at that there. I would have to move this whole platform over. Looks like, I don't know, what would that be, a couple foundations? So that shouldn't be too big a problem. Yeah, you know what? I think I am just gonna go ahead and do that. So if I do go ahead and just move this over a couple foundations, it's gonna look something kinda like that. Something, yeah, kinda like that there, and then the first floor hole seems to be about here. So this should work fine anyways, because then in the middle here, yeah, you can already see I have the 2-meter foundation set up here already, so all I have to do is just I can go ahead and figure out where I put them. Go ahead and do something like that. And then just grab some water extractors, wherever they may be. Oh yeah, it's up here anyways. So I just go ahead, grab some water extractors. And, oh no, you want to know why. I have to move this back a little bit. That's still there, good. Just have to move this back one, I think. That's all I have to do. So that's where that is. It also is a possibility it might just be too close. There you are. Something like that, and then there you go, just snap it to the grid, something like that. It would have to be, I would have to line it up a little bit more, but I think you guys can see the general idea I'm going for here. Oh, some people joined on finally. Sup? Yeah, I'm doing alright. Dino. Oh yeah, Dino from the last video. Nice to see you, bro. Anyways, though, in today's video, for you, if you're just joining on here, I'm building up 120 water extractors here to fill my nuclear reactors. And the general plan I'm going for here is I'm just going to place down 2 water extractors per nuclear reactor here as a general plan. So let's see here, if I just go ahead and grab a water extractor and line it up more or less. Right, something like that. It doesn't seem to want to... Okay, so I just need to expand the grid out a little bit. There we go. Right, did it expand it out? Not really? Damn. I mean, it's kind of the problem with building foundations underwater, is you really can't see what you're doing. This was a lot easier to do with my last build in the... where was it? Kind of up in this area of the map here. And the reason why it was easier is because all of the water over in this area of the map is clear and not like all swampy kind of water. Anyways, though, it seems like it won't let me place anything down. So it has foundations placed, it just won't let me see them, which is weird. Here, if I just go ahead and like dunk myself into the water. Oh no, wait, hold on a second. There's more foundations underneath here too. So why can't I see them? Oh, you want to know what it is? The water's too shallow. That's probably what it is. Because if I just go ahead and swim my way over here. Yeah, you could almost just see it right there for a second. Yeah, you can see the water's too shallow. Yeah, because I did place it down, the water's too shallow. That's what it is. Right? Yeah, I think that's what the problem is. It's too shallow for water extractors. Or is it? Oh no, it doesn't seem like it's too shallow for water extractors. Although it stops clipping at about this area here. Just go ahead and make sure let's see, where is this even lined up? Okay, so that's more or less lined up with the water extractor going that way. Oh, there you go, another person in chat. Yo. Yeah, nice to see you there. Just going... for those who just joined, I am just lining up this water extractor here with the floor hole. That is not lined up. What the problem is, even though I can technically place it, I don't think it's going to be very lined up. Just go ahead, do it something like that. Now, lining up a water extractor like this isn't necessarily necessary. This is just more of an OCD thing. You see, that isn't lined up properly. I have to get like right underneath it and then line it up something like that. Right, more or less. You know what? That's good enough for me. Then I have to go on the other side and kind of place it down like that. Although I am gonna have to do it something more or less along the lines like, come on, there you go. So then from here I go ahead and then just do something like that, and then I am gonna have to go ahead and build up a platform halfway if I'm gonna do this actually. So what I think I'm gonna do, let's see here actually, if I just, oh, that's weird. I just got really laggy there for a second. Anyways, though, I am gonna go up top and find a good place where to make a marker to put it like kind of halfway here. Or, you know what I can even do? I can do something like that. There you go. For the nuke plant, yeah, I'm trying to put in 120 water extractors for the nuclear power plant here. And like I did mention earlier, the general plan I have is, since each nuclear power plant here requires 240 water per minute, I am just going to place down 2 water extractors kind of like beside each other, kind of like that, and have it running straight into the nuclear power plant here. You can even see here I have the infrastructure hooked up for that kind of setup. And the reason why I'm doing it like that rather than having like a bunch of water extractors kind of just bunched together and then having like, what would that be? How much water would that be actually? Anyways though, instead of having it like that, I'm going to do it kind of like in this orientation, which I think will be easier to set up to in the long run. Screw ladder, use pulse noblest. Oh yeah, I mean, I actually haven't unlocked the pulse nobelisks yet. Or have I, and I just forgot. Let's see, where would that be under? It would be under sulfur. Yeah, I haven't unlocked the pulse nobelisks yet at all. For no particular reason other than I'm pretty lazy and I haven't had a need for them yet. Automate pulse nobelist as soon as possible. Best way to travel if you're not near a tube cannon. Really? Pulse nobelisks are really that good for traveling? I didn't actually know that. Interesting though. Anyways, so from here, let's see, if I just go ahead, just get some frames here so I can just go ahead and make sure that I have this lined up properly. Come on. It's because I'm using the wrong frame. And I just ran out of power. That's fine, whatever. Just go ahead, do something like that. Yeah, throw a couple down and jump with the jetpack on. Detonate as you jump and they launch you. Oh, really? So that's how it works. And then you take 1 square of damage? That's actually not bad. I might have to try that out, actually. Do I have the stuff to actually unlock Pulse Nobelisks, though? Let's see. So in order to get the black powder, I need sulfur and coal. That I have. Got all of that. That I don't have, but I need to unlock it anyways. So then you unlock, I guess, a bunch of Pulse Nobelisks along the way. I mean, that's a pretty good side quest I can have lined up for this stream, but for my main objective, I'm still gonna kind of focus on building up the water extractors. And the main problem I'm having right now with my water extractors too, so if I just go ahead and, oh, where are they here, get a pipe junction, line it up something like that. You can see here if I place it here, yeah, it's not long enough, so they do barely any damage. They take normal nobelisks and crystal oscillators to make. Okay, so that's not bad. Crystal oscillators. I think I did automate them. I'm not sure. I forgot if I actually have any stored though. Anyways though, where was I? Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out how to solve this because that's too short, just barely. So what I was gonna do was do something kind of like that, right? Because then if I just go ahead, do something like that, then instead of going all the way up, this just has to go up to there, right? And then from there just up to there. Something easy and simple. I would have to do that for all of them. That's a ton I'm gonna have to do that for, but the price you pay for more power, right? Okay, so you've placed blocks of 9 pipes, eh? Place 66, or sorry, 56 out of 92. Interesting. Very good. Yeah, but anyways. That sounds interesting, though. Let's go ahead. Let's see, so the pipe looks like it's about 2... So if I just go ahead and place another line of foundations, something like that. Can it literally just be something as easy as this? Something like that anyways, I guess, yeah. That's not gonna look the greatest, but... it gets the job done, you know? I mean... I mean, it should be fine. It's not like I'm going to be looking under here a whole ton either, so... Oh, that's good. So, yeah, it starts when you need a lot of water, but you made it look nice and clean. That's nice. Actually, one thing I am trying to do, though, is I'm trying to get all of the water extractors kind of hooked up to the same grid here, so you can even see. Like, I have all of the water extractors kind of snapped to the grid here just to kind of keep them all lined up and stuff. Although this first row here is going to be kind of weird. Because, oh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because it is deep enough for water extractors, but there is still, like, land underneath there, so you can't actually hook it up to the grid or anything. Which is unfortunate, but it's not gonna be too terrible. It shouldn't look like it anyways. But anyways... if I just clean that up a little bit, what I might have to do is... Right, that's going straight up, more or less. So what I can do is this is going to need a ton of pumps too, which is also annoying. If I go ahead and do something... I don't even need it that far out. Do something more like that. That's too far out too. It's really... I don't know. I think that looks actually kind of worse. I might have to figure... yeah, figure it out or finesse it or whatever. It's so hard to see the foundations in the water. Yeah, it is pretty hard actually to see the foundations in the water actually. Because for my fuel setup, because I also have a fuel generator plant kind of over in this area over here making 60,000 megawatts, which is what's currently powering my base here. When I did build up the water extractors for those, it was way easier to have them lined up and stuff because the water is actually like clear and you can see everything. My main facility is my main facility. Okay, so your main facility is over near by the big waterfall there, eh? I mean, yeah, I guess that's one place to put it. I was actually originally thinking about placing it over there, but then to get the uranium fuel rods over from that area over to the main ocean area for my water extractors would be kind of a pain. So what I did instead was I did set it up kind of over in this area over here, kind of near the edge of it. But I do have a bunch of, like, I do have this main belt highway coming over from, kind of doing like a big L shape almost, if you will, going out this way and then down here, getting up the copper, iron, limestone, two things of limestone, and then the caterium. And then I have another belt highway coming from over here to get the sulfur and coal. And then I have a main train line here that's getting my uranium all the way from over this way here. For the tougher route. I mean, it won't be necessarily tougher. I mean, it might be more annoying because you have a further travel distance if you did build it all the way near the waterfall, but in the end, it's not like you're transporting the uranium rods across the map, right? It's just a short distance from, I don't know, I'm assuming over this area over here to what I'm going to assume is over this area, so in the end, it should be fine. Just kind of annoying. Okay, so your whole uranium setup then is just like a massive circle then. Okay. Yeah, so my general idea of how I want this whole thing laid out here is you can see that it's just kind of laid out in one line, which is fine, but what I have discovered though is at the very end over there, where I built my nuclear power plants, is kind of like near the world border. It isn't too close to it, but it's close enough to where I can't build up any sizable factory. So what I'm going to have to do is make it an L shape in order to put all of my plutonium stuff. Yeah, I've irradiated the entire swamp. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what my plan is here too. Just to kind of irradiate the whole thing, and I don't really care if it gets irradiated either, because I mean, it's the swamp. Apart from a few other resources like bauxite, and then yeah, the bauxite, and then what else is here? Apart from a few coal nodes, there's really nothing else here really worth of value. So that's why I decided to build it here, and also the abundance of water too. It was also close to water. So that's why I did decide to build it in the swamp anyways. Wow, this thing is really being picky. Come on. Yeah, but then doing something like that is... Oh, you know what? What if I go ahead and do something like... Would that... Sorry, would that work? That would work. It won't be lined up on the bottom though, but you know what? I'm pretty fine with that. So there you go, something like that. I am going to add the pumps afterwards just because, I mean, I don't want to worry about pumps right now. I just want to worry about getting everything piped up together. Yeah, you still have tons of room over that water. Oh yeah, so you've already taken out all the bauxite, eh? I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use up all of the bauxite nodes in this playthrough anyways, because I'm not trying to like max out all of the resources in Satisfactory just yet anyways. But I do know I'm definitely going to need a couple of these. Or what purities are these actually? Okay, so there is a pure node there, which changes things, because I do know for the plutonium rod setup I'm going to need, in order to get rid of the nuclear waste, I am going to need aluminum production. So one of these nodes is going to be, well, repurposed for that, because it's here. And also, another really nice thing about this area too, is there is nitrogen gas nearby needed for the nitric acid, which is also really nice. Anyways though, seems like that's pretty lined up, and so I just have to rinse and repeat that process now sorry, 59 more times. This is gonna be really annoying, but the things we do for power. Let's go ahead and build out the platform here a little bit. Let's see, so where are the actual foundations here? Do I have any on this side? I do have some on this side. So let's go ahead and place it down something like that. Okay, so you can kind of see it there. I have to continue. Let's see, where is it? Oh, come on. Kind of expand it out that way. More or less like that. I'm also going to have to expand out these platforms here too. Something like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, so I can... Yeah, building nuclear nobelisks would actually be pretty cool. I would still have to unlock nobelisks, like I said earlier. But like I said, that shouldn't be too big a problem. I already got everything. Yeah, and heat sinks do come in the very last step, which is why I need the uranium. Or actually, it's not the last step, because if I get a blender, I did plan the factory using an alternate recipe, and that is the fertile uranium. Or no, wait, is that the right one? I forget. It's a non-fissile uranium alternate recipe I have. Or no, it's... Oh, I'm trying to remember now. Wow, total brain fart there, but I'm trying to... I remember I unlocked a few alternate recipes that makes it so I don't actually need the particle accelerator at all. Or no, I still need the particle accelerator, but I don't need to make the plutonium... was it the plutonium pellets or whatever? I just can turn the nuclear waste straight into the plutonium cells. Which is what you want. Oh, right, that one. Yeah, so... Yeah, that alternate recipe. I'm trying to remember, though, which... where it is, though. I think it's in the manufacturer, is it? No, or is it in the particle accelerator? Let's go ahead and do something like that. Yeah, this one right here, instant plutonium cells. So I can just go straight from non-fissile uranium aluminum casings into encased plutonium cells. So I don't have to like make it into plutonium pellets and then turn the plutonium pellets into the plutonium cells. So I actually take out a production step with that, but it does require 10 aluminum casing per minute, which actually isn't too big a problem. Like I did mention, I have bauxite in the area, along with coal and other stuff needed for an aluminum setup. So everything should be fine when I do get to that stage of the plan anyways. But then you process as much waste. Making pallets helps dispose waste way faster. And that's the goal. Yeah, I mean, making the pallets does dispose of the waste faster, you could say. But I don't, like, my end goal isn't to have a bunch of storage bins filled up with nuclear pellets or non-fissile uranium. My end goal is to process all of the nuclear waste into plutonium fuel rods to then be sunk, so I don't have any, like, backed up, what is it, either nuclear waste, non-fissile uranium in case you, plutonium cells or whatever. Right? I mean, at least that's kind of the way I'm going about it. I do know the main, call it, strat is just to make like 1,000 just industrial storage containers or whatever and just let it pile up. Yeah, I know it's the plutonium fuel rods is the only thing you can sink, which I think is kind of annoying because I understand why you can't sink the nuclear waste, but like at least make it so you can sink the non-fissile uranium so you don't have to go through like the million-step process of turning that waste into plutonium fuel rods. At least that's my opinion anyways. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess that's just one way of looking at it. Less nitrogen too? Wait, does it really use less nitrogen? I didn't know that actually. Probably should have, but I don't. And there you go. So something like that should work fine. And so, yeah, just rinse and repeat this process 58 more times now. That shouldn't be too big a problem, but that should work. This should all work pretty good. And then actually, as far as pumps go, how far would a Mark II pump get me? It would only get me to about there. So I would need 2 pumps. How much power do pumps take actually? Does it tell you? It does not tell you, but I'm going to assume it's not an incredible amount of power. Anyways, though. Actually, real quickly, I do have stuff hooked up on the bottom of there, right? There you go, lined up more or less. Just grab another one. Won't be fair. Yeah, because blenders making fissile will be fairly backed up, which allows the particle accelerators to be burning the waste and fissile as it gets waste. Okay. Yeah, but then... I mean, yeah, I guess, but then... what was I gonna say? Oh, come on, I was just about to say something. Damn, I totally forgot. You ever hate when that happens, when you're about to say something, but then you just totally forget? Yeah, I get that often as I age. Yeah. Wait, do I actually have foundations placed here? I don't. So then place foundations, dude. You see, like, where did I place you? Oh, on the bottom of the sea floor there. There you go. It's super hard to get these foundations actually built because you can't see what you're doing. Even with the flashlight on, you still can't really see what's going on. But there you go, so I have that built up. Go ahead, do something like that. That's just my 2 cents anyway. Yeah, I mean, everybody has the right to their own opinion, right? And that, I mean, that's just kind of like one of the beauties of Satisfactory, right? Is like, everything in this game is so unique that, like, I don't know. Everybody can have their own opinions about what's more efficient than what. If that makes sense anyway. Exactly. But if you played exactly like I do, you would be boring to watch. Yeah, because, like, yeah, I mean, like I just said, Satisfactory is like one of those games where everybody just has their own unique playstyle. Even if you do watch other people do it. It is brilliant. I even watch guys that do the most terrible spaghetti. I know, I mean, one example of that is Let's Game It Out. I mean, I've seen a couple of his Satisfactory videos, right? Now, clearly he's doing it on purpose. I mean, that's his whole channel stereotype, if you will, playing games the total opposite way. But I mean, in reality though, I mean, even when I was first starting, or when I first started playing Satisfactory, how long ago now? 2.5 years? Has it already been 2.5 years now or something like that? Yeah, I mean, in my first playthrough, like, I had a total spaghetti belt. Just belts going everywhere. Zero efficiency. But now after about 2 years, 2.5 years, or however long it's been, I have gotten, well, you can see way better at the game. Yeah, I'm not talking about Let's Game It Up, but I love his vids. Yeah, I know. I was just using him as an example of, like, just a YouTuber, or anybody really who just, I don't know, has that kind of build style, if you want to call it, or has that play style. Huge leg spike there, not really sure why. Yeah, it's interesting watching people like that wondering where everything is. Well, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, oh, come on, I have a way of explaining this, but how do I make it sound like it's gonna make sense? Okay, so yeah, I mean, if it's your play style, right? Like, if that's how you play the game, or if that's how the way you want to do things, or how the way you organize things, then that is the most efficient way to build a factory for you, because you know where everything is, you know how to do everything. Like, if you took somebody, for example, somebody like Let's Game It Out, and told them to build a factory like this, something super organized, everything has to be, you know, exactly where it is, and stuff, then the factory won't be efficiently built because that's not their playstyle. If that kind of makes sense, I guess, anyways. Kind of the best way of explaining it, anyways. kind of understand. Yeah, I mean, I know what I'm trying to say in my head, but I just kind of have trouble sometimes, actually, I don't know, I guess kind of explaining it. Man, this is actually taking a while. How many have I actually built so far? 2, 4, 6, 8. I've only done 10. That's actually not a lot. I'm not even halfway done. For the first row, too, I have 4 more rows I have to do this with, too. How am I gonna get this done? Well, I mean, I can get it done. It's just gonna take a ludicrous amount of time, though. Let's see here. I mean, I guess if I didn't really care about how it looked like, I could get everything done fairly fast, but I do want all of this to look good, so the price for that is it is gonna just take longer. Let's go ahead and just do something like that. And then, you know, the one thing I actually have kind of like a, I don't hate it about Satisfactory, but doing repetitive stuff like this, it can get super annoying, but like, I don't know, I guess it's just like, I mean, I don't really mind it, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is doing repetitive stuff like this. That lined up properly? It is lined up properly. Let's see here. So this would be 4, 6, 8, 10. What is that, 12? So this would be halfway done the first row, because each row, right, is going to be 24 water extractors, because 24 times 5 equals 120. So there you go. Go ahead and expand this out as much as possible. Something like that, anyways. Let's see here. So if I actually go to here, where do the things end? So did I build that right? I did build that right. There you go. I'm getting kind of better at placing down all of the foundations underwater. It's just so annoying, you can't see anything. Yeah, exactly. Got to run 27 pipes. Smoke a joint, play some music, get me through those parts. Oh yeah, I mean, usually when I'm doing like just repetitive or daunting stuff like this, I usually just, you know, go ahead, play some Star Trek or whatever's on YouTube and just zone out and do what I need to do. It's funny because we did this to ourselves. Nuclear is not necessary on this scale. Yeah, I guess it really isn't necessary on such a big scale, like 60 nuclear power plants, but like, I mean, I've watched guys on YouTube who have done like 150 nuclear power plants, so like more than double what I'm making now. And I mean, I theoretically could do that because I'm not even using up all of the uranium in the world. I still have this impure node over here, and then I think there's a couple more. I think there's one on top of like this huge mountain over here, and then I think another one somewhere over there. So I could theoretically actually make more nuclear power, but the reason why I'm not is because, well, like you said, it's already a bit excessive on this scale anyway. So, and besides, I think like, what is that, 25? It's 2,500 per reactor, right? Times that between 60. Yeah, I think 150,000 megawatts should be enough megawattage for a playthrough. You're only using 2 nodes to get 92 plants? Wait, how would that work though? 2 nodes for 92 plants. Because these are the 2 only uranium nodes here. Right? The 2 normal nodes. They can only produce 1,200 per minute. And with 1,200 per minute, you can only make 12 nuclear fuel rods per minute, right? Which can only fuel 60 nuclear power plants. You could achieve that much power with turbo fuel. Oh, I know. You can make like 150,000 megawatt turbo fuel generator and be totally fine for the rest of the playthrough. Like, I could have totally done that and never touched nuclear. But the reason why I am touching nuclear or like doing a huge nuclear setup is simply because I've never done it before. Okay, so you're using that one in the waterfall too. Everything overclocked and alt recipes. Yeah, I guess if you're using the right combination of alt recipes and everything's overclocked, I guess that would work. But yeah, the way I'm doing it though is I'm just using up the 2 normal nodes here, so I'm getting 1,200 per minute, and then turning it into 12 nuclear fuel rods per minute. Yeah, so you did the alt because it's better rate for uranium fuel rod. Yeah, I mean, if you use the right alt recipes, then yeah, it would be better. With my setup, I'm trying to remember if I used any alt recipes. I don't think I used any alt recipes. I think I mainly stuck to the original recipes. And simply because I didn't feel like going hard drive hunting for a few days. Yeah, I mean, that's mainly the reason why I used the original recipes, is because I didn't feel like going hard drive hunting. I make 2,400 quick wire per minute from that cave in the swamp. Pure Caterium ingots. Oh, so you went with pure Caterium ingots. Yeah, you see, I didn't do pure Caterium ingots. I just did the regular... I just went with the regular Caterium ingot. If you did go with the pure Caterium ingot, though... where are the refineries at? Yeah, but if you did go with the pure Caterium ingot, that's 24 to 12. So instead of a 1 to 3 ratio, it is a 1 to 2. So it is definitely a better ratio from Caterium ore to Caterium ingots. Try to use pure recipes every time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the pure recipes. They are definitely way better. Like, if we even take a look at the copper here, it's 15 copper to 37.5, which is over double. It's an over 2 to 1 ratio. I'm not sure the exact number, but that's pretty good. The one thing I have against the pure ingot recipes for the refineries is that it requires water. And like for most of my builds, for example, like my main base over here is in the not the dune desert, the what is it called, the rocky desert, right? And you can see there's not really a lot of water here, so I just like smelters better. They're just easier to set up and stuff too. Massive pure ingot factories. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna go that route, like, if you really wanted everything on that large a scale, like, for example, I could have, you know, what is it, like, a few hundred, or no, that would be more than a few hundred. Oh, let's just call it something, 1,000 refineries, pure iron ingot refineries, doing iron and then copper, caterium, so on and so forth. You could do stuff like that too, if you really wanted to build stuff on that large a scale, which maybe I will later in the future, but for right now with this playthrough anyways, I'm not gonna do stuff on that big a scale. I don't think I'll go mentally insane just with the amount of work I'll have to do. The issue is not water. Look at the power difference. Yeah, the power difference is also there because, like, what, a smelter uses, what is it, 4 megawatts or something? Like, yeah, just 4 megawatts, and then, yeah, a refinery takes, what, a base power of 30? Yeah, it takes a base power of 30, so there is a way big power difference there, too. But honestly, if you're building stuff on that big a scale where you're taking all of the, like, for example, all of the iron nodes and turning them into ingots using the pure ingot recipe, then I think I wouldn't say the last problem is your power, but like, if you're doing things on that big a scale, you already have your power situation figured out. I would think anyways. Yeah, it's a big undertaking. It is a big undertaking if you do go that route. I mean, even if you don't, like, I know I'm using this analogy of taking all of the, call it iron ore or copper ore, and turning it into pure iron or copper ingots. I realize I'm using that example, but like, even if you're gonna do that on a, call it smaller scale, like, I don't know, for example, taking all of the Caterium ingots in this, call it, area that I have laid out, even if you were to do that, that would be pretty big, like a pretty big factory, all on its own. It's more that I have. I have rail spanning nearby the entire map. Nearly the entire map. Yeah, I mean, actually, one thing that I am doing in this playthrough that I have never done before is using trains. Now, I mean, that might sound strange, but like, I've never liked trains. Simply because they take up a lot of space. And they're super hard to get through the terrain. Like, I can understand, like, big train highways, like, if you have them elevated high enough to where they're not going to hit any foliage or terrain. I can totally understand having, like, train highways going everywhere, but, like, yeah, I've never liked using trains for, what is it, small scale stuff, or smaller scale stuff, I should say. Like, this, for example, like, the train only has 2 stops. It's the uranium and then the base. I have basically 3 main highways, north, south going, well, 3 main going north and south, 3 going east and west. Over 50 stations and 30 trains. Yeah, I mean, that's a big system you got set up there. 3 highways going north to south and then east to west. I mean, yeah, that, like, that makes sense. Like, using trains for that makes sense. I would say, like, if you're transporting ores from, like, let's say the Dune Desert all the way to the grassy fields, like, a train would definitely be good for that. Just the one thing, like I did mention, like, the terrain difference, because they're on 2 different, oh, what is it? Terrain elevations or whatever. It's just a pain to get the train, like, up and down all of the, well, yeah, terrain and mountains and stuff. So, because even with the train I'm using now for the uranium, Actually, if I just fly up and show you. That's just gonna take too long, but anyways, though. I mean, from here, like where it is now, over to the waterfall, it's like, it's a nice straight looking thing, you know, looks nice. But as soon as it gets into this area, it's just kind of going which way, you know, clipping through terrain and stuff just because, you know, I'm tired of trying to make it look good. Okay, so you do just build floating stations 30 meters-ish above the ground. Okay, yeah, so that kind of makes sense, because that takes care of your terrain problem. Just the one thing I don't like is, for example, I mean, the train station, or the train I have now, has to, like, go from here and then up the waterfall, which is kind of annoying. Right? But no, I mean, the plan you have set out is actually pretty good. So you just have a blueprint with one pillar and you just zoop it up to any height you want then? I mean, yeah, I guess that, yeah, that makes sense if you, yeah, because then that helps you dodge all the terrain and stuff if you make your floating stations there too. Yeah, and I guess that would be really fast too. It's a double rail network two-way. Okay, yeah. Brings power to every corner, eh? Yeah, I mean, I guess that is one really nice thing about the trains is that you can power things remotely, I guess. I actually, funny enough, I didn't know that until recently, so with these two train stations here, I actually do have a separate power line running through it because I didn't know about that. But anyways. The things you learn on the job, you know? But other than that, I have finished my first row of 5. I gotta do this 4 more times now. That's a big headache. But yeah, I'm pretty happy I managed to get this all done. The 1 row in an hour and 32 minutes. Took me an hour and a half to build up the 1 row. Granted, I am talking to you guys on chat, but still, I mean, an hour and 30 minutes. to build up. All of this is insane. I mean, how long is that going to take? Let's just call it a... I don't know, say I build it pretty fast. That's going to take a long time. Anyways. From here... Actually, you know what? I'm going to start the second row at the other end. Brings power to my entire world, connects my entire world. Nice work so far, though. Procrastinate so much. I know, in Satisfactory, either when you get stuck or even bored, like building like just all of the water extractors like this, like I'll get super distracted with the weirdest things. And then like I'll realize an hour later, like, oh, I need to actually do this. Anyways, though, so if I just go ahead and figure out where exactly... Okay, so if I wanted to go ahead and just kind of do something like that. 1, 2... Something like that, so then I can go ahead and do that. So yeah, there you go. Now I just have to go ahead and place them. Alright, so starting the second row here, I'm going to have to go up on that second level and go ahead and just make sure I have everything lined up properly. So the second row of floor holes is around here, which would mean... yeah, I do place it there still. It would go more this way, this being the middle part, right? Yeah, more or less, I guess, something like that anyways. So just go ahead and do something like that. Or no, yeah, do something like that. I just gotta move it over one. Right? Yeah, I think that should work the way I want it to. Because then actually, just to test out my theory, right, let's say I have one water extractor set up here. I don't know, something like that. And then, okay, so it is blocked. I don't want to delete that, just this here. So what is going to have to happen is it is going to have to move forward one. Because then this way, if I go ahead and do something like that, there you go, so that works, and that's just the way it's gonna have to work, which is fine. Are you lined up too, by the way? No, you're not. Make sure I get it lined up. Something like that. And then, oh yes, I have to go ahead and expand out the foundations on the bottom of here if I do want it to be connected properly. There you go, more or less. There you go. That is really close together. How far apart do I have it over here? Oh, okay. That's a mistake on my part. I put it too close. There you go. Anyways, though, from here, do something like that. And then I have to go ahead and find the junction. Make sure it's lined up with the floor hole right there. And there you go. I have now started the second row of water extractors. And the more I think about it too, I mean, I'm just building up the water extractors. I have to build the pumps, and then I have to get everything wired together up to the water extractor grid, and then I have to get that grid all the way. Wow. Sorry for that. All the way up to the control tower. This process is going to be long for sure. Am I going to get it all done in today's stream though? Probably not. Hopefully I'll get half of it done. More or less anyway. Are the fuel rods being produced? They are. So what I'm doing is, actually, if I just go up to the top of the factory here, get a little bit of a change of scenery going. One thing I should probably do is just go ahead and switch to there. Come on, give me power. There you go. Anyway, so if I just head to the top of the factory here, yeah, you can see that everything is running, and I am producing the fuel rods. What I am doing though is I am just awesome syncing them to, well, get coupons, but also to keep everything running at 100% efficiency, because I don't want all of this to get backed up and full of nuclear waste, or non-nuclear waste, full of fuel rods, and then just irradiates the whole thing. Yeah, but anyways though, the process I actually have for building them is pretty straightforward anyways. So actually, if I just go to this end of the factory, slowly make my way over there. Yeah, you can see here I have the main belt highway here going in, feeding the caterium, copper, iron, and then limestone. So I have the caterium going into making the quick wire, which is then making the AI limiters with the copper sheets, which is over here. So I did purposely put them beside each other so it can easily go into making the AI limiters, which is then used with the stators to make the electromagnetic control rods. But then I also have the copper smelters here split, so I have 600 here for the copper sheets, and then I have another 300 here for the copper wire, which then goes into making the stators with the steel pipes, and then the steel beams go over into the industrial, the encased industrial beam. And then over here I have the electromagnetic control rods. And then over here I have the sulfuric acid. Now the one thing I actually did have a ton of trouble with earlier on anyways, was actually balancing out the sulfuric acid. Because the way I had my sulfuric acid set up originally was I had a full 600 line feeding 18 out of the 24 blenders, and then I had the outputs mixed in with another 120 to feed the remainder blenders. But everything kept getting, you know, either backed up or not enough, so just I have sulfuric lines mixed in everywhere, and sulfuric acid is just going everywhere. And it seems to be working efficient enough. I mean, everything is running at 100% efficiency. You can see there. All the alt recipes I use just takes raw sulfur. Wait, what alternate recipes are you using that just uses raw sulfur? Because what, like, oh, are you using the okay, I see. Alright. No, yeah, but anyway, so that's pretty much what's going on here. I also have 30 manufacturers making 0.4 uranium fuel rods. And actually, the way I did set up the power plants here is pretty simple too, because I have 6 of these manufacturers in a row making 0.4 uranium fuel rods, which equals out to, I think it's 2.4, which is also the exact amount 12 reactors uses. So each row of these, why is it super laggy all of a sudden? I just noticed that. Anyways though, but the reason, or the way I have it hooked up, sorry, is I have 6 manufacturers feeding 12 reactors, which is what I did here. And the way I have it hooked up too. Actually, are you running at 100% efficiency? You are. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with my uranium fuel rods summarized. Anyways, though, I just gotta get back to building these water extractors. Nice setup up top. Nice and clean. Yeah, I was actually pretty proud of that setup, actually. It's one of my better looking setups. I mean, if I showed you my, like, starter base, it looks like a complete circus over there. Just stuff going everywhere. Going into storage bins and dimensional depots and stuff. Yeah, nice work also. Or sorry, nice work for sure, yeah. I try my best anyways. I mean, you can even see here kind of the general aesthetic I'm going for with the water extractors here too. So like, I have each thing like 2 foundations apart with the water extractors in between. And then like these little dividers down the middle here so you can like walk down the, I don't know, down the middle of it to, you know, check everything. And then you have the stuff up top for like all of the pumps and stuff. Let's see, how long have I been streaming for now? Almost 2 hours. Wow. Has it really been that long already? Man, you really do lose track of time when you're just doing stuff. Expand out the platforms here a bit. What is that there? Like, go ahead and get rid of that. Something like that, anyways. Actually, just curious, how many viewers are online right now? 5 viewers, eh? Yeah, that's a nice amount. Come on. Why aren't you doing the thing? Why are you doing the thing and I'm blind? There you go, now you're doing the thing. Come on. There you go. How many does that make now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Ah, halfway done the second row. It's pretty nice. You know what, actually, You know what, I might actually end the stream a bit early today, just because, I mean, nothing really exciting is going on. I'm just building water extractors, right? So I might actually end it a bit early. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna end it early, actually, so... yeah, thank you for watching today's stream. I really hope you did enjoy it. If you could also please like and subscribe to my channel. I also do really appreciate it. It does help out my channel a lot. And thank you for watching today's live stream. I hope you guys tune in for my next live stream and continue watching my videos. GG, it was fun chilling. Yeah, it was fun chilling. But, I mean, I'm not very good with outros, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Bye.